So here we are, we've made it to episode 5 of the CW Superman and Lois. It seems to be doing very, very well. I know that I'm enjoying it very much as a Superman fan, and I don't usually stay on board with very many CW shows. I'm happy they exist. I'm so glad that they serve a certain portion of the public, but even Smallville, I was never a massive fan of Smallville. I know that I need to go back and give Smallville another chance. I'm aware that it was really well written, but at the time when the show came on the air, it really just wasn't my jam to have Superman and his whole mythos reimagined as a teen drama. So I never really jumped on board with it, but Superman and Lois has kept me glued to my seat the whole time because for me, Superman, Clark, being domesticated, being married and having kids is the position that I've always felt that Superman should be. Watching him juggle his work and Superman and parental responsibilities as the Earth's greatest protector, for me, just seems like the right direction for Superman. So as a father and a parent and a Superman fan, this show appeals to me the most as a viewer. So the ratings for Superman and Lois, they seem to have stayed fairly steady, with the first episode garnering 1.745 million viewers, and then all the way down for the rest of the episodes, they're in the solid 1.2 range. For a television show in the age of the internet and in the age of streaming, those are actually really good numbers, and I'm not exactly sure if those numbers are just people that are watching the show on television and they're not counting folks like myself that are watching it on the CTV app, because I can't watch this show on the CW because I don't have that channel. However, I can watch Superman and Lois in Canada through CTV's Sci-Fi channel, and I watch that through my Chrome box, my Chromecast. Chrome box. I got a big chrome colored box and I just open it up and watch the show on the inside. Anyway, I am not going to spoil the entire episode. I am going to just mention a few of the things that I thought were very cool about this episode, but I want to leave plenty of meat on the bone for you. So the first thing that I felt was very cool about this episode is in the town of Smallville. And I want to preface this by saying the entire episode takes place in the few days surrounding and during their Harvest Festival. It's a yearly celebration. It's a fantastic fall celebration. And this whole episode takes place during that time. But Martha Kent, because she was such a wonderful force for good, for charity in her town in Smallville, they've decided to commemorate her with a bench. That's right. Superman gets commemorated with a gigantic statue, and just generally anyone who's been a big deal and they're also the world renowned, they get a statue. And if you're important somebody in a small town, then you get a bench where people get to sit on something with your name on it and, you know, break wind and stuff like that. I'm kidding. I'm just joking. And although it is kind of funny, really, when someone commemorates me with a bench, I hope they put my name on the bottom part that you sit on so that people can just literally fart on my name. Now, I say this every single time, but it's no less true every time I say it, is that the character development of Jonathan and Jordan Kent is really well done. It has been handled, in my opinion as the viewer, it's been handled really fantastically. We see that Jonathan, who is clearly out of his element. He really would prefer to still be in Metropolis, but he's been yoinked out of Metropolis and dropped in small town Smallville, where he really feels like he's not going to have much of a future. It's starting to weigh on him. Every episode we can see that the burden of really him not jiving well with small town life, we can really see that that burden is beginning to weigh on him. And it's to the point now where he started to hang out with some fellas from the wrong side of the tracks. He started to drink. Actually, I'm not even gonna lie. He goes and gets drunk. Now, I'm not really someone like, I'd be like the pot calling the kettle black here. I mean, I do enjoy my brewskis, so... But he's underage, and that is the problem. He is an underage drinker hanging out with the wrong people. His little teenage brain is developing, and he wants to go and douse it with alcohol. That's a bad idea. Of course, also, if you are the son of Lois and Clark. So when they're at this Harvest Festival, right, he's down there, he's drinking with his buddies, and just generally not dealing with the whole situation very well. And Jordan's on his first date. That's right, Jordan has his first date, and things are going wonderfully until Jonathan shows up, all hammied, and makes big scene, and to which, Lana's daughter, I never remember her name. Sarah Cushing, I have to look it up. every single time. I don't know why I always forget. Anyway, Jordan, who's on a date with Sarah Cushing, and then has the whole thing kind of barged in on because his drunken brother's just acting like a jackass. Sarah gets really upset, feeds him a mouthful, and then buggers off. I don't mean she, like, punches him in the mouth and fills her mouth with her knuckles. I mean, she gives him a tongue lashing, and then off she goes. Jordan's such a fantastic character. You're seeing a lot of development here with him as well. Clearly, the city wasn't working for him. He felt like an outcast. In Smallville, he's kind of finding his groove here a little bit more with every episode. He's such a kind-hearted boy. They really both are, because Jordan, after having his date wrecked, and Sarah having been like, I'm out, he decides, I'm going to look after my drunken brother. And his drunken brother, Jonathan, to be fair, feels pretty terrible about what's happened. He's apologized to him, and so they're looking after each other in this. Well, it's actually more Jordan looking after drunken Jonathan during the Harvest Festival. Lois and Clark are milling about as well, having a good old time, until, of course, they see the kids, and Lois and Clark figure out that he's drunk, and it's like, why are you drunk? Call yourself an Uber ride and go home. Lois is not happy. I wouldn't want Lois to be my mom and angry with me. Just her giving you a stern talking to would be enough to make me just wet my pants. Just she'd start talking and I would it'd be all over my pants and the floor. And now for something completely different. Do you remember Sharon Powell's kid went missing, Derek Powell? Well, he's shown up again. That's right, although he's looking kind of weird and sketchy and shifty-eyed, like something is not right. Us, the viewers, are supposed to see that there's something clearly not right with this guy, and we find out very shortly, actually later, that there's definitely something wrong, because he goes all heat vision eyes and loses control and ends up burning down the building that has all of the donations for the Harvest Festival. Well, damn. I'm talking everything is burned up and gone, and it's a huge travesty. And of course, Clark gets wind of this, so he shows up and at super speed goes on inside, blows all the fire out with his super cold breath, to the point where the wood that was on fire is now cool enough that the snow flakes that have formed in the atmosphere are sitting on the wood and they're not melting. And Kyle takes note. He's like, he touches like the snow. I wonder if Kyle is going to eventually figure out that Clark and Superman are one and the same. Or maybe he'll come clean with Lana and Kyle will be there. I don't know. You never know what's going to happen in these shows. Now, we do find out in this episode how people, at least the people who were intended to gain temporary superpowers, Kryptonian-like abilities based on the X-Kryptonite, we do find out how it is likely that they all received their powers, because Chrissy Beppo, an intrepid reporter in her own right and Lois Lane's boss at the Smallville newspaper, she follows Derek and his back alley smoochy girlfriend, which Morgan Edge's right-hand woman. What am I supposed to call her here? His sidekick, Miss Heat Vision Eyes. You know who I'm talking about. They're all smoochy in the alleyway, and then she follows them into this other building, and she spies, what do you see? But down in the basement, there's a room that's got this, like, weird Frankenstein CAT scan tube, where they go into the tube, and it's all bright and glowy and stuff like that, and fireworks, and then they come out the other end, and they're all charged up with Kryptonian-like superpowers. She's like, oh no! She contacts Lois. Of course, Superman finds out. What does he do? Blasts in like gangbusters, ready to go into fisticuffs with this guy. Of course, because it's Clark. He wants to talk to the guy first, but of course, no conversation is happening. So of course, they get into a fist fight, and then that results in an aerial chase, woo, up in the sky, and Superman's chasing him, and you find out that these human beings are pretty much on par with the power of a Kryptonian. Although, by the end, we do find out that the human body, if it's charged up too much, can't handle such a charge, because Derek, even though Superman's trying to help him, Derek ends up just burning up. His cells can't handle the X-Kryptonite charging his cells like that. This is very bad for Tag, who is also another human being who has X-Kryptonite in his system, not because he was dropped in one of those weird Frankenstein CAT scan tubes, but because of the ocular discharge from Jordan at that party there. Now, for those of you watching at home who have seen this episode, you'll know that I'm leaving out all kinds of important points of the story because I want the other folks who possibly haven't seen the episode yet to be able to go and watch this and hear and see things that I haven't completely spoiled. Yes, this is spoiler heavy, but I want to leave plenty of meat on the bone. So I'm going to leave this right here. There's plenty of new information about Captain Luthor. There's more going on in the Kent household, and there's definitely more going on in Lana Lang's household. So I'm going to leave all that completely up to you. If you want to see it, you got to watch it. These are my initial thoughts about episode 5 of the CW Superman and Lois. I guess we just got to wait until it comes back from hiatus to pick the story up. And I'm going to be waiting on bated breath, on a bed of nails, on a bag of whoopee cushions until the show comes back. I can't wait until it does. I'm really thoroughly enjoying it. Anyway, I guess that's all for today. My gums have flapped enough, and I'll see you later. Bye.